Happy Friday, Infiniteers, and welcome back for a new episode of Toy Box Classics. Today, we are going to finish my version of the classic Turtle Talk Toy Box by implementing the logic for the collection quest that I added. And this is a very simple quest, but it gives the player something to do and a reason for riding all of these super cannons to swim through the EAC. Now, in preparation for this video, I have placed the collectibles and the Creativitoys that we're going to need. So let me show you those. So we're at Crush. This is where we're starting. This is where the long line of super cannons ends that comes from the reef. And I have placed a locator here at Crush's eyes. And then we have a text displayer, a dynamic trigger, a radar marker, an action enforcer, a collectible tracker, and a sound effect generator. And all I've done is place these out of the collectible, or out of the Creativitoys drawer. The sound effect generator, of course, comes from Gameplay Toys, as do all of the collectibles. And so down here on the Manta, we've placed one on either side of the fans. Up at this turtle, we have one that's up here above the fan and one that's sitting on the head of the turtle. On the turtle that's in front of Crush, we have one here on the flipper, one on the front. On this manta ray, we have one above the fan there, and one down between the eyes there. One on the back of this turtle down here. And then inside the whale is another one. That's located here. And another one on the tail. Excuse me. So those are the collectibles that I've placed and the Creativitoys that we're going to need. And if you want to place more collectibles, feel free. Or if you don't like the placement of mine, feel free to move them around. Now, a couple of weeks ago, one of my viewers, Chad Main, suggested that maybe we could use a breakable toy, like the Barnacle Cluster, instead of the Gold Challenge Orb. You can definitely do that if you're on a console. If you're on PC, I don't think the PC version has the Finding Dory playset toys. But if you're on a console and you want to do that, you can place these barnacle objects instead of the gold orbs. And that might be kind of a nice alternative, a little bit more realistic. Maybe the animals are asking you to clear the barnacles off of them. But what you do is place these instead. And instead of using the collectible tracker over here, you would use a logic AND. And then on each of the collectibles, or the breakables that you place, you'd open the logic menu, do a new logic connection when this is broken or collected, and then you would input into the logic AND. And the logic AND, let me cancel out of this, the logic AND will do everything that the collectible tracker is about to do. So that would be the difference. And as I said, you could certainly do that. That would be fine. Not a problem with that at all, and maybe you think that would fit better on the theme, and that's okay. Alright, before we get into the logic, which again is very simple, there's one more change I wanted to show you. We built the baby turtles last time, and you might notice the head's a little big. I actually used the wrong screenshot when I built the heads. So if you delete the neck and grab one of these, that size better fits what you need for the turtle, the baby turtle. And then the other thing that Father 911 had done with his baby turtles, we'll delete this, we'll delete that. I'm going to pick this up, and instead we're going to use the half dome. Put that in there like that. And then use a balcony wedge underneath like that. That's what he had done. And I think that looks a little bit more childlike and definitely differentiates itself from the fuller head of the adult turtles. So I think that's pretty good. I like that a lot. And if you wanted, you could even delete that neck and slide this back if you don't like his neck sticking out so far. But I think they did stick out kind of far in the movie for the baby turtles, so I think that's fine. But that's another option to use. If you like the ones that we built last time, the same head as the adult turtles, that's fine too. Okay, let's hook up the logic. And as I said again, I'm not going to show you how to hook it up using the barnacles. It's going to be pretty similar, and I just showed you the difference. But I want to show you how to hook it up using the collectibles. And since the logic for this is very simple, I did not bother to create logic diagrams for this video on my blog because you don't need them. Alright, so what we're going to do first is turn Crush here into a mission giver. So we're going to hook up our radar marker with a new locator connection to that locator. We'll do the same thing with the dynamic trigger. New locator connection, connect it to the locator. On the properties for the radar marker, beacon type will be a yellow exclamation point. Beacon location needs to be the locator. And we're going to have this active by default when you come into the toy box. On the dynamic trigger, for the properties on that, we're going to change the target to be the locator. And trigger distance, I'm going to set this to be 4. So you got to be standing on his neck, or at least coming up to his head to be able to trigger that. On the text displayer, text duration will be 4, text style will be banner. On the sound effect generator, just go ahead and set all the properties for these. Turn off 3D sound at speaker or locator. And on the collectible tracker, if you're going to do what I did here with the collectibles, you're going to set this to be the gold challenge orb. And if you want, you can turn this on to show them on radar. I don't know that that's necessary because you can kind of see them everywhere, but it's up to you. Okay, so when the player enters the area around that locator, they'll set off this dynamic trigger, and we'll use this to trigger the quest. So on here, we'll do a new logic connection. When entered by player, any, we'll have the radar marker turn itself off. And since we only want to do this once, we'll have the radar marker, when it is deactivated, turn around and turn off the dynamic trigger. On the dynamic trigger, a new logic connection. When entered by player any, in addition to turning off the radar marker, we want to display a little text. So we're going to come down here to the defense category, and we're going to say collect the coins. It's not exactly accurate, but it conveys the idea of what we want the player to do. Alright, and that is it for Crush. Then you come over to the collectible tracker, do a new logic connection. When the final collectible is collected, we're going to have all the players celebrate. So we'll come over to the action enforcer, have all players celebrate. And on the collectible tracker, a new logic connection. When the final collectible is collected, we'll play our end of mission sound that I like to do. So we'll have it play under musical fanfare. And there we go. That is it for the logic for this quest. It is extremely simple. We're just setting up Crush as a mission giver, and all of the logic is governed by the collectible tracker for us. And that's it. Now when you're done with logic, you probably want to save your toy box and test this out. Make sure you can play through it. When you're done, you can take all of these Creativitoys, and to hide them, just bring them down here to this first baby turtle and place them underneath the turtle. and just hide them here. If you want, you can delete this block that's up underneath the middle of the turtle and move the sound effect generator up in there, because that's a little bit more noticeable than the others. And then each of the others, just bring them down and tuck them underneath here between the legs underneath the shell. And for the most part, the player won't see them. And once you do that, then you're done. And that is it for my version of the Turtle Talk toy box. I hope you enjoy it. Next Friday is Halloween, so I will take a break from this series to show you my new Halloween toy box. You won't want to miss that, so be sure to subscribe to my channel if you haven't already done that. And if you build this toy box and play through it, leave me a comment to let me know what you think of it. I'd love to hear from you. Thank you for watching, and have a great weekend.